Namaste and welcome to Tridivicham Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamachit, and thank you so much for joining me for our Tuesday Puja and Satsang. Sorry for the delayed start. We were having some technical issues, but they seem to have resolved themselves. Before we begin, I'd like to start with a couple of announcements. So this coming Friday, 7 p.m., will be our monthly Yoga Nidra practice, and this will be a summer solstice Yoga Nidra guided meditation. And then a week from today, next Tuesday, also 7 p.m., will be part 54 of our series, Kali for Everyone. And this will be a puja and a satsang for Tarapit, Tara, another form of Kali. So again, welcome and namaste. This is part 53 of our series, Kali for Everyone, Puja and Satsang to the Dharma of Kali. So the Dharma, the nature or role, that is, of Kali. In Hindu traditions, Kali represents the destruction of ego, ignorance, and illusion. Her Dharma is often understood as protecting truth, also liberating devotees from fear and transforming what is impure into spiritual awakening. Though depicted as fierce, she is regarded as a compassionate mother who removes obstacles to liberation. The Dharma can also apply for those of us who are living in what is thought of as Kali Yuga, and I was talking about Kali Yuga last week. Many Hindu scriptures teach that the recommended spiritual practice in Kali Yuga is relatively simple compared with earlier ages. Emphasis is placed on devotion, that is bhakti, chanting or remembrance of the divine, truthfulness, compassion, self-discipline, and ethical living. A famous teaching from the Bhagavata Purana that states that chanting the names of the deity is especially effective in Kali Yuga. And this can be as simple for Ma Kali as the mantra Om Kali, Om Kali, Om Kali. This happens to be a favorite mantra of the 19th century teacher Ramakrishna. As a modern form of the Divine Mother, she's found in the Kali Oracle deck, and I have that particular card. This is card number 37 in the deck. This will be our representation for the Dharma of Kali tonight. The guidebook message emphasizes that there's a deeper intelligence and purpose unfolding in your life if you are reading for yourself and this card comes up for you. And this occurs even though current events seem confusing or disruptive. To quote the guidebook, her every action is infused with loving purpose. When you trust in your integrity and proceed according to your soul's values, you are trusting and empowering her to be at cause in your life. A new order is to be established. Oh, I'd like to say namaste to Kim, who is joining right now, and anyone else who happens to be tuning in, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. So when this card appears in a reading, it points to trusting the larger pattern rather than trying to control every outcome, acting in alignment with your deepest values and integrity, recognizing that apparent obstacles may be part of a reordering process, allowing old structures, belief, or situations to dissolve so that something more authentic can emerge, and understanding that one feels what one might feel as chaos may actually be divine organization at work. And that's really I think, important aspects of one's Dharma in relation to Ma Kali as well. Sometimes it's really a process of, to paraphrase a popular saying, to let go and let Goddess. So questions this card and also this modern form of Kali invites is to ask oneself, am I acting according to my soul's truth or out of fear? Where am I resisting necessary change? What would it look like to trust the process unfolding in my life? And what new order is trying to emerge? So, this modern form of the Divine Mother personifies Dharma associated with devotion to Ma Kali. Different traditions express it somewhat differently, but several themes are common. So, the Dharma of Kali in devotion refers to righteous path, the path of Dharma, of approaching and worshiping Goddess Kali, aligning one's life, actions, and spiritual practices with integrity, truth, transformation, and surrender to her fierce and loving energies. In Hinduism, especially in the Shakta, that is the goddess centered path in Hinduism, and Tantric traditions, Kali or Mahakali embodies time or Kala, change, destruction of ego or ignorance, and liberation, moksha. She is the fierce aspect of the Divine Mother, Shakti, protector of her devotees, and a force that dismantles illusions while granting fearlessness and spiritual freedom. Devotion or bhakti to her upholds Dharma by demanding courage, purity of heart, ethical living, and acceptance of life cycles rather than just rigid rituals and practices alone. So, some core principles of Kali devotion, Kali Dharma, is approach as a child to a mother. Kali protects and liberates those who come to her with childlike trust, love, and surrender. Bengali traditions especially emphasize this loving devotional attitude over purely tantric intensity. She guides devotees through challenges toward acceptance of such things as death, change, and the truth. Kali Dharma involves integrity and living your Dharma authentically. As highlighted in modern interpretations like the Kali Oracle cards, the Dharma of Kali means acting with spiritual alignment, every action infused with loving purpose, facing fears, releasing one's ego, and trusting one's inner knowing rather than worldly validation. Challenges are part of her design for our growth. Another principle would be the destruction of ego and the protection of righteousness. Kali slays demons within ourselves, and these demons symbolize ignorance, attachment, and adharma, not living within the Dharma. Her worship supports Dharma by empowering devotees to confront inner and outer negativities, upholding truth, and seeking liberation or moksha. She is said to protect righteousness and her children from all harm. And finally, transformation and fearlessness. True devotion involves radical honesty, releasing limiting beliefs, and embracing her tough love. And this leads to empowerment, not escapism. So, devotion of Kali aligns with broader Hindu Dharma, but it's also intense. It calls for bravery and is not dangerous for sincere seekers, though it definitely accelerates inner work. So following Ma Kali's Dharma can certainly bring very fast changes. Sometimes for some individuals, change is occurring too fast for them to maybe wrap their heads around. I'm going to share with you a story of a student years ago I taught Kriya Yoga to. And I taught this individual mantras to both Lord Shiva and to Kali. Young man working as a flight attendant. He was going through both the sale of a house and a bankruptcy. And so I taught him the practice of Kriya Yoga. And a couple of weeks later, I asked how things were going. He said, "Oh, I had to let that practice go." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Well, things were the changes were happening. They were changing in the way that they needed to, but they were happening just so fast. I was having a hard time handling it." And so I sat him down and we went through the practice again. And rather than using mantras to Lord Shiva and Ma Kali, I gave him mantras to Lord Ganesh and to Ma Lakshmi. And I saw him a couple of weeks later, and he said things were going very well with those mantras, that things weren't happening so quickly that his head was spinning. Things were happening at a rate that he was really ready for. And so, as a Kali devotee with a temple to this form of the Divine Mother, and also somebody who shares in Kali Dharma with others, I'm really the first to admit that the worship of the Dark Mother of India is not necessarily for everyone. But for those of us that it does work for, it's just an amazing path. So devotion to Kali aligns with broader Hindu Dharma, but it is and it can be very intense. It definitely calls for bravery and is not dangerous for sincere seekers, though it definitely, again, accelerates our inner work. So, some ways to practice the Dharma of Kali: studying her symbolism, so the meaning of things like her sword for knowledge, cutting through ego, her garland of heads for conquered vices, her tongue representing the female vulva as well as the flame of the cremation ground, the power that brings us into this world and calls us home in the end. Daily devotion, chanting her mantras like Om Krim Kalake Namah or Om Kali or Jai Ma Kali. I'll be saying a little more about that one. Puja and offerings, and most importantly, lifestyle alignment, cultivating courage, truthfulness, compassion, and detachment, facing our personal demons through self-reflection, meditation, and or yoga, and avoiding harm and focusing on transformation. Her Dharma ultimately points to living an authentic life, destroying what no longer serves, embracing change, and walking in fierce love and freedom. Another way to explain the Dharma of Kali is through the following 6 principles. First, radical devotion of the truth. Kali is often understood as the force that cuts through illusion, self-deception, and ego. A devotee's Dharma is not just merely ritual worship, but a commitment to honesty about oneself and reality. The second principle, courage in transformation. Kali is associated with endings, change, and liberation. Devotion to her often involves accepting necessary transformation rather than clinging to what has outlived its purpose. The devotee's duty is to meet life's changes with courage and faith. The third principle, surrender of the ego. In many Shakta traditions, Kali's fierce imagery symbolizes the destruction of the false self. The Dharma of her devotee is to gradually surrender pride, attachment, and the need to control everything. The fourth principle, compassion and service, and this is something I talked about a lot last week too, in terms of activism. Although Kali's iconography can appear terrifying, devotees often experience her as the Divine Mother and serving others, protecting the vulnerable, and acting compassionately are seen as expressions of devotion to her, as well as being vehicles for change in this world. Again, that importance of activism. Traditional forms of Kali devotion may include, and this is the fifth principle for spiritual practice, prayer and worship, or puja, mantra recitation, meditation on the Divine Mother and her different forms, the study of sacred texts like the Devi Mahatmya or the Devi Gita, and ethical conduct and self-discipline. And finally, the sixth principle, freedom through engagement with life. Unlike paths that emphasize withdrawing from the world, Kali-centered traditions often teach us that liberation can be found through fully engaging with life's joys, sorrows, losses, and uncertainties while remaining rooted in the divine. So a concise way to interpret Kali's Dharma is to live fearlessly in truth, surrender the ego to the Divine Mother, and allow transformation to become a path to liberation. So mantras for the Dharma of Kali devotion focus on invoking the goddess Kali's transformative power, her protection, her fearlessness, her ego disillusion, and alignment with righteous living. These support her core Dharma, surrendering to the Divine Mother, facing inner and outer challenges with courage, and destroying ignorance or adharma, and embracing change for liberation. So there isn't a single universally designated Kali Dharma mantra, but there are two very simple ones that I'd like to share with you tonight. Very simple, yet very powerful. One is the one that I mentioned earlier, Om Kali, Ramakrishna's favorite. Om Kali, Om Kali, Om Kali. And then another one is very simple, but it's also very joyful. And I first heard this during the spring of 2006, so 20 years ago. I was in pilgrimage in northern India in the lower Himalayas, and I was visiting several sacred sites, including Chamunda Devi Temple, Naina Devi, Chintaputti Devi, Kangra Devi, Javalamukhi Devi, and quite frequently there would be devotees waiting in line to go into the temple, and they were chanting, Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali. And I had several opportunities where I joined in with them. So wonderful chant unto itself. Wonderful chant for raising energy to put toward a particular purpose as well. So with that, let's begin our puja. Along with Kim, I'd like to say hello to, hopefully I say this right, Shailaja. Thank you for joining me. And again, anyone else who's tuned in, please feel free to say hello using the chat function. But if you have your puja set available, please join me in making offerings to the Dharma of Kali. And for our opening and for our puja mantra, let's use that very simple and very powerful mantra, AUM Kali. So I invite you to take a comfortable seated position. Let your back be straight. And just find that seated position, whether in a straight back chair or seated on your mat, where you can just gaze in a relaxed manner upon the image on your screen. Look upon the image. Breathe deeply. And with each exhalation, surrender any hindrances between you and your connection to the Divine Mother. Worries or concerns about past or future, for example. Breathe away the tensions, physical, mental, or spiritual. And let each in-breath be a receiving of her gifts, gifts of acceptance, gifts of relaxation and inner peace, gifts of focusing and realization of the divine. And in doing so, focus your breath and your attention upon your heart center and let yourself become connected with that Divine Mother's presence within yourself. And if it's not in the form of Kali, that's perfectly fine. Whatever way in which the divine manifests for you. And I invite you to think about some part of your life that is ready for healing or transformation or resolution. And this can be for yourself or somebody close to you. And just simply ask for the Divine Mother's assistance in providing what you or one close to you needs at this time. And open yourself also to receiving knowledge in terms of the right action to take so that you can best work and act within the framework of Ma Kali's Dharma. Walking her path. Accepting her into your life and becoming her instrument upon this earth and becoming her vehicle for change within yourself and for those around you. And I invite you to slowly bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And let's chant that simple but powerful mantra, AUM Kali, 3 times. Deep inhale. AUM Kali. And a second deep inhale. AUM Kali. And a third deep inhale. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. So I invite you to join me in continuing to chant our mantra, Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Taking a spoonful of water and cleansing your altar. Om Kali. Taking perfume oil, a little on your middle or ring finger, anointing your devotional image. Om Kali. Also anointing your third eye center. Om Kali. Om Kali. Taking up the food, offering the food with your right hand. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Lighting the candle or oil lamp and offering that with your right hand. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Lighting the incense, offering the incense. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Offering a little more water to cool the atmosphere. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. And finally offering a flower to the Divine Mother. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center and bowing. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. And continuing to chant the mantra. Om Kali. 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 Breathing deeply. Feeling the power of the mantra. Making it a part of you. And feeling it working toward the fulfillment of your intentions. And offering your mala. Offering another flower. Bowing with reverence. And preparing for tonight's meditation. Allowing your eyes to gently close. Taking a slow, easy breath in and a gentle breath out. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Following your breath. With each exhalation, letting your body settle. settling a little more deeply into stillness each time you exhale. And noticing the points of contact between your body and the surface supporting you. Feel yourself held, feeling the earth beneath you. And knowing that there is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing you need to solve at the moment. For these moments, your only task is to be present. Present centeredness, entering the sacred space. And I invite you to imagine that you are walking along a path at twilight. The air is cool. The air is still. Above you, the sky deepens from gold to indigo. The world is becoming quiet. And as you continue walking, you become aware of a subtle presence around you, not separate from nature, but woven all the way through it. The wind, the trees, the earth beneath your feet, the rhythm of your own heartbeat, and you arrive at the edge of a vast open space. Before you is a dark, star-filled sky, stretching endlessly in every direction. This darkness isn't frightening. It's spacious. It's protective. It's alive. It is the mystery from which all things arrive and into which all things return. So I invite you to take a few breaths here and take in this space. And feel yourself welcomed. So in the center of this sacred space, a radiant presence begins to emerge. The presence of Ma Kali. Let her appear before you and see her in whatever form feels natural to you. Maybe she appears in traditional imagery. Maybe as light, or as a felt presence, or maybe just simply as deep knowing. Just allow her to appear in her own way. And notice that beneath all fierceness, there is an immense compassion. Beneath all intensity, there is unconditional love. And know that she's not here to punish. She is here to liberate. She sees beyond appearances. She sees beyond fear. She sees your deepest truth. And she welcomes all of you as you are. She welcomes those parts of you that feel strong. She welcomes those parts of you that feel uncertain. She welcomes the dreams that you carry, the grief that you may also carry, the questions you cannot yet answer. All of these things and more are welcome here. And she invites you to bring your attention to anything in your life that might feel heavy at this time. A decision, a relationship, a challenge, a transition, a hope for the future. Just simply allow those things to arise. And imagine holding that situation or situations in your hands. And begin to notice how much effort you may have been using to try and control or predict or force some kind of outcome. Without judgment, just simply notice. And then begin to imagine placing this burden or burdens at Ma Kali's feet. Not abandoning responsibility, not giving up. Just simply releasing the illusion that you must carry everything alone. And as you do this, I invite you to repeat inwardly. I release what I cannot control. I welcome clarity. I trust in the unfolding of my path. And now that you've laid that burden at her feet, take several slow breaths. And with each breath, feel the increasing spaciousness that opens. And then notice that Kali carries a luminous sword. Her sword is not a weapon of violence. It is the sword of discernment, the sword of truth, the sword that cuts through illusions. And I invite you to ask yourself gently, what am I ready to see clearly? And allow whatever arises to arise. Maybe it's a belief about yourself, or a fear, or an attachment. A story that has shaped your choices in the past. Just let it come. No need to analyze. Just simply observe. And now imagine Kali raising her sword, and in one effortless moment, she cuts through whatever no longer serves your highest good. Old fears dissolve. Old limitations loosen. Old identities that have become too small begin to fall away. And what remains is you. Just you. More authentic, more present, more free. And feel the relief of no longer carrying what is complete. And again, let your awareness return to the center of your heart. And imagine a gentle flame burning there. This flame represents your deepest truth, your soul's wisdom, your Dharma, the mission that you took birth for. Not a role, not a title, not other people's expectations, but the essential truth of who you are. And I invite you to ask inwardly, what qualities am I being called to embody? Courage, compassion, integrity, patience, creativity, trust, love. Just allow whatever comes to emerge naturally. And see these qualities glowing within the flame. With each breath, the flame grows brighter and brighter, steadier, clearer. You don't need to become someone else. You're simply remembering who you already are. And then I invite you to imagine Kali placing her hand upon your head or upon your heart. And feel a current of energy flowing through you. Just know this is a blessing, a transmission of strength, a reminder that you are supported. The transformation is not happening to you alone, that life is participating in your awakening. Just allow yourself to receive this. This is a blessing that you don't need to earn. You don't need to prove yourself worthy. Just simply receive it. And rest in silence as you breathe deeply. And once again, I invite you to join me in silently repeating our mantra. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. With each repetition, feel yourself aligning more deeply with truth. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. More deeply with courage. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. More deeply with trust. Om Kali. Om Kali. Om Kali. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Ma Kali. And you see yourself standing once more beneath the vast night sky. Notice how you feel. Maybe lighter, perhaps calmer, maybe more present. And just know that you don't need to know all the answers today. You only need to know the next true step. And just listen to my words and let them settle into your awareness. Trust in the wisdom of your soul. Release what is complete. Welcome what is emerging. Walk your path with courage and integrity. Be guided by truth. Be supported by the divine. And take a slow, deep breath in and a long, deep breath out. Let go of the meditation and begin to feel the room around you, the surface beneath you, the sounds near and far. Slowly moving your fingers and toes, your hands and your feet, your arms and your legs. And slowly bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And just acknowledge that Divine Mother's presence within yourself, knowing she is there to guide you on this path, to teach you, to heal you, and to guide you toward those things that you need, and to help you reason and help you to realize your own personal Dharma, that mission you've taken birth for in this life. And take a moment to give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice. Knowing you can do this meditation again whenever you have need. You can also play the meditation for someone else. And slowly opening your eyes. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Ma Kali. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me. And Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I want to thank you so very much for joining me. That includes, hopefully I say this name again right, um, Shalaja, thank you for joining me. Kim, thank you for joining me. I'd like to thank anyone else who is joining live, and I'd also like to give my thanks to those of you who'll be watching the recordings in the future. Please take some time for some quiet contemplation before once again resuming the day or evening's activities. Please feel free to email me at omcdavy@gmail.com with any questions or anything you'd like to share. You can also message me at my channel. And I look forward to you joining me Friday night, 7 p.m. for our Yoga Nidra meditation, a special Yoga Nidra for the summer solstice, which is coming up. The longest day, the brightest light. And thank you once again. As always, you're welcome to join live on YouTube. And if you're in Denver, please join us in person at our temple, 1260 South Xavier Street in Denver, Colorado. Until then, have a wonderful night, wonderful few days ahead. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali. Good night. Thank you.